Broadcasting live from atop the Rocky Mountains, the crossroads of the West. You are listening to the Liberty Roundtable Radio Talk Show.
Put me in, coach. Come on, you got to put me in. Sad state of affairs when more threats of assassinations occur. Lance Migliaccio decides he might just become a woman. Happy to have you along, my fellow Americans. Sam Bushman, Lance Migliaccio, host of the Big Mig broadcast, available everywhere, powered by Truth, thebigmig.com. They're available on YouTube and X and just about everywhere. Truth Social, Rumble, the list goes on and on. They're also available on the weekends, Saturdays, on LibertyNewsRadio.com as their radio version takes flight every week. Lance Migliaccio with me now. Welcome to the broadcast, sir.
Hey, good morning, Sam. Happy to be here. How are you, brother? And let me point out, I'm going to make a very ugly woman, but it seems like that's where the money is. It seems like you can't get a lot of money as a conservative talk show host, so I might as well go as a transgender talk show host. It seems like that's where the money is, Sam.
Okay, you got to work on your voice first of all, though, because I'm just not buying it right now.
Oh, Sam, I'm a sexy guy. You're right.
Wait a minute.
Listen. The truth is, Sam,
happening in the world today?
I'm going to make. Sorry, I did a little camera adjustment there, and I went too far. I ended up being much taller than you. Bottom line is,
big
Sam,
woman.
There's no doubt that I am gonna. If I identify as a woman, everybody's going to know I'm a man. I'm 6'1", like 228. I don't think. If I am going to be a woman, I'm not going to be an attractive woman, but that doesn't matter. You don't have to be attractive. That's not the point. I mean, look at Big Mike Obama.
How dare you even bring up attractiveness as a kind of a factor? I don't know what you're thinking. You and Enes, though, are some big chicks. But Enes would tower over me. I've been with Enes at Mar-a-Lago. I actually talked to him quite a bit. He's an interesting guy. I like him a lot. I think he's 6'8", isn't he? I think he must be 6'8" or so. No, I think he's 6'10".
Is he? Yeah, sure. Well, let me put it this way. When I was talking to him, I had to look up. So whatever height he is, he's a lot taller than I am. But he's really a great guy. I like a lot of what he had to say about the political environment and the global environment. He's an interesting character. And look, he's shining a light on something that's absolutely ridiculous. But now they're saying, and I don't understand why. Have you figured this out? Why they don't qualify for the WNBA?
So here's the deal. The debate is about that right now. Let me explain the nuances a little bit on this thing. So we can't say WNBA sources. We have to say league sources. Oh. I know that's weird. But see, if you say WNBA, then people believe it's formally announced, and it's not quite formally announced. Top lead, or they say lead sources say, and they claim that former NBA players, Enes Kanter and Mr. White, they can't, be in the WNBA. They're ineligible to enter the league's draft, they say. The big thing is they say this. They have dismissed the moves as publicity stunts intended to mock the organization, Lance. Now, can you believe that disrespect to these guys?
I don't think they're being disrespectful. I think they think an opportunity. They're not paying in the NBA any longer.
I'm talking about the league disrespecting these two women.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I got confused on what you were saying.
That's just disrespectful. I mean, how dare they? Because listen, if they identify, how dare they question that identify? Whenever you and I question somebody identifying as something, we get just absolutely slaughtered, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. God forbid you say any of this on YouTube. They will give you a strike. You're not supposed to talk about anything in the LGBTQ XLMNOP QRZ division, and you're not supposed to talk about any of anything to do with transgenders. So the point is, I'm not surprised that they're taking this position, but I have to tell you.
But they're not really taking this position, though. They've let these sources speak out and say this, but the quote WNBA hasn't released anything, Lance.
I think it's time to bring out an attorney that represents both of them and fight for their position. And then even if the WNBA says you can't draft them, what I would do, I would be a sneaky head coach, and I would just wait till the last minute, and then I would drop two of my worst players, and I'd snatch the two of them up, and then here comes my championship. I've got my championship WNBA team ready to go.
We're ready to go. We're going tall this season.
What do you think about Angel Reese?
What do you think? We're going big this season, Lance.
That's what I'm saying. I would go big. And that's what I would do as a coach. I would just sneak in there last minute and snatch him up, even if nobody else was going to draft him.
And Darnold could back it, too. And
I'm looking for a championship. How do I care how I get there? WNBA doesn't seem to care about anything. And here's my question. Do you think Angel Reese is going to try to check those guys like she's been doing Caitlin Clark? What do you think is going to happen if she tries to check Enes Kanter or Royce White? What do you think will happen to her?
Well, I just think that it won't go well.
Yeah. I think she might get knocked out. I got to tell you.
Maybe.
I don't
what
think
they might do is just
any of that garbage.
They might just say that everybody commits fouls that gets near her, right?
Yeah. Well,
because she could flop, and you know what I'm saying.
I have a feeling Angel Reese wouldn't try to take either one of them on like she has Caitlin Clark. I still think I want to change some of the WNBA. I want enforcers like the NHL. I think the hockey league's got it right. I think they need an enforcer. The minute
just
somebody hits one of my players, somebody goes after, Caitlin Clark, or any of the other players on my team. That's when I put the enforcer in, and their job is strictly to just go over there and just jack that player that hit one of my players. What do you think? I think enforcers can make the WNBA exciting, Sam.
Well, they kind of tried to do that at one of these latest games, and that's what kind of brought this into the news right now. Enes Kanter went to the game. And he was wearing a shirt that defined a woman. It had a noun definition, adult, female, kind of thing. And he was wearing this shirt and kicking back and watching the game. And then, what's her name? Made this three. What's her name? Sophie Cunningham. I'm not super familiar with a lot of these women NBA players or whatever, WNBA. But anyway, so she makes a three. He starts cheering for her. And I'm telling you right now, they came unhinged. Let's play this video and then we'll talk about it. They just absolutely came on here to check this out.
With one of the players. The player was Natasha Cloud right there, walking up and yelling at him. You can see his T-shirt. It says, woman, noun, adult, human, female. He's standing up for women's sports.
So Natasha Cloud was happy that she hit a three-pointer. So she screamed at Enes Kanter. He got up, he's 6'10", and let him know, what's your problem? I'm allowed to sit here and wear a T-shirt and root for Sophie Cunningham. What's the problem with that? And next thing you know, they throw him out of the game.
So he's on the right side of the issue because men should not be playing in women's sports. It just should not happen.
But he will be. He'll be drafted in the spring.
But I also don't agree with him stepping up to her like that. A man shouldn't do that. It just shouldn't happen. It shouldn't.
He just stood up.
No, but he walks toward. You shouldn't do that as a man. He's too big for that. I understand and I stand with him on highlighting this issue. But I hope women see now that are on this court that there is a biological difference. But this is what happens.
But Cloud began yelling at Kanter,
which is wrong,
who stood up and walked towards the court. An official and security personnel immediately jumped in.
And that shouldn't happen.
And they tell him to leave. Here's what he said afterwards.
Sophie Cunningham shot a three, and I put my hands up to celebrate, right? Literally a couple positions later, Natasha came back and started screaming and yelling and said, she's not going to sleep with you. And I was like, I am not trying to sleep with her. I'm just here to protect women and support her. And then obviously after that, she started yapping and she started to walk towards me. And literally I just got up and then I was like, I'm just here to protect women, and that's all.
So Enes played 11 seasons.
Anyway, it goes on. We can drop that now.
Now he wants to play for the WNBA.
So the bottom line is,
he says,
this one player just got triggered, this Natasha whatever, Cloud or whatever. She's not going to sleep with you, she says. And so now they're making it, and this is what they always do. Whenever they want to basically try to get the upper hand, they want to make it a sex thing. So she's not going to sleep with you. AOC, whenever a man who's conservative speaks out against AOC just goes, oh, you're just in love with me. You just want to do me. And so that's your problem. You're just enthralled with me. And so they always turn it into that, Lance.
Yeah, but first of all, how does she know that Sophie Cunningham won't sleep with Enes? She doesn't know that for a fact. She hasn't been told by Sophie Cunningham. That's number one. Number two, but this is the kind of aggression these players, when somebody lifts their game, like a Sophie Cunningham or a Caitlin Clark, somebody lifts their game and is really effective, their only response is to get angry, to scream and yell, to hit them, to push them out of the way. This is because that's the only behavior when they can't exceed at a professional sports level. and they're struggling against a player, this is their response. She's angry because Enes was supporting Sophie? I don't think so. I think at the end of the day, they're jealous of Sophie Cunningham's attention. She's brought a lot of light onto the women's sports, and the issue that we're dealing with is there's no doubt about it. Listen, Enes is 6'10". I thought he was 6'8". Now I know he's 6'10". I remember looking up at him when I was at Mar-a-Lago when we were talking.
He's huge, man.
Yeah, he's huge. He's a giant guy. Now, did you know this? I didn't know this. I learned this yesterday. George actually told me this on the regular show. Did you know that the basketball for women's basketball is smaller than the men's basketball? By
of course it is, because their hands can't hold it
know.
Otherwise, buddy.
I
can't palm the ball if it's.
Can you imagine Enes Kanter palming that much smaller ball? It's going to be like it'll be like Jordan. They won't even get a chance to get to the ball. He'll just keep pushing it.
So let me make a prediction. We'll do it in seconds. This is Liberty Roundtable Live.
Attention collectors and savvy investors. We are excited to announce a momentous evolution in our journey. Introducing Freewater Coin Company, formerly known as Rust Coin and Gift. This rebranding takes us back to the very roots of where it all began, Freewater, Oregon. It's a tribute to the legacy of Al Rust and a celebration of 3 generations of dedication to excellence in the world of coins and precious gifts. Al, Brian, and Jake Rust standing strong through 64 years of service. Discover a world of exceptional service at Freewater Coin Company, your premier destination for genuine, honest money and precious gifts. Under Brian's expert guidance, Freewater Coin Company, building on the legacy of Rust Coin and Gift, continues its tradition of trust and excellence. Visit us at our Provo, Utah location. Explore our treasures online at freewatercoinco.com or call us at 801-377-1574. Freewater Coin Company, where your future is built one honest coin at a time.
Looking for an IT partner that truly understands your needs? Managed IT Services is the answer. We meet with you regularly to discuss your goals and form a tailored technology plan. Our customers have called us a trusted advisor who delivers. When it comes to IT, we do it all. Firewalls, cloud storage, server migration, and more. Say goodbye to long-term contracts and hello to a team that earns your business month after month. Call 801-706-6980 now and let Managed IT Services transform your IT experience.
All right, Lance Migliaccio with me, ladies and gentlemen, thebigmig.com. Check out the award-winning broadcast every day. They talk about all kinds of stuff, man. They're on Rumble and X and YouTube and everywhere. Spread the word. And then on the weekends, they do a radio show at libertynewsradio.com. Check out thebigmig.com. You know, they say that liberty is the right to tell people things they don't want to hear. Boy, howdy. So I think 2 things. One, a suggestion, and 2, a prediction, Lance. Tell me what you think of this. My suggestion is, why don't we just have the NBA instead of the WNBA? Just have the NBA, period.
And you mean
because otherwise you might have the white NBA because white people can't play as well as black people. You'd have the WNBA. Oh, wait a minute, that's already taken. What would you call it? You'd have the racist NBA, the RNBA. Then you'd have the small NBA for short people. The short, yeah. See, otherwise, so why don't you just have the NBA? I mean, if it's not a man-woman thing, and we're not going to admit that there's male and female, created he, them, and admit X, Y, you know, in the chromosome reality of science and God's, we're going to ignore all that. Then why even have a WNBA at all?
Hey, I'm okay with that, but I want first-round pick. I'm going to take Caitlin Clark. That's who I'm going to draft.
You want Caitlin, Sophie, Enes?
Yeah, I'm going to just. If we're going to go open and we're going to go full gender, everything goes, then I want first round picks. Yeah, I would take Sophie and Caitlin Clark as my first 2 picks.
Would you take Royce White?
Oh, of course. Listen, let me say this.
Can wide. Have a last name like White, or is that bad?
Well, it depends. Is he going to do like white chicks from the movie? Is that how he's going to play it? Or is he going to go? Or is he going to go just like how's he going to play?
You know, they always have black characters take white roles in movies and redo the movies and stuff. I think what they ought to do is they ought to do white chicks and have Enes and Royce redo the movie. They'd be the lead actors and white chicks.
I think it's a great idea. Can you imagine? Do they even, I'm curious, and maybe this is a question I shouldn't ask. Do they even make high heels big enough for somebody like Enes Kanter, or is that all custom?
I don't think
work?
so.
I mean, what is that guy?
Work, dude.
He's got to wear like a size 16 or 18. I don't even know what size shoe he wears, but can you imagine those high heels? Huge. You have to kill a whole cow just for the leather. It's an entire cow to make 1 pair of heels.
All right, so that's my recommendation. Here's my prediction, though. What they're going to be forced to do is let these guys get in the draft and play. Because if they don't, I agree with you. Get a lawyer. And what's really going to happen here? So you can't have it both ways. And these guys are on to something. Call it comical. The WNBA or the league is basically saying they've dismissed the moves as publicity stunts. But how do you determine someone's heart and mind when it's a publicity stunt versus when it's, quote, real? And isn't all this a publicity stunt? Whenever a man decides he wants to be a chick, isn't it a publicity stunt to a great degree? And that's kind of what we're dealing with here. But here's my prediction. If they let them into the game, then what they'll do is they'll start handicapping people. They'll say if you're of a certain weight or a certain height, then you've got to play with some kind of a handicap to make it fair. Isn't that where they're going next?
Maybe. I mean, can you imagine where they're going to put lead weights in their shoes so their vertical is smaller? They're going to require that their 3-pointer has to come from a farther distance. I mean, I agree with what you're saying. But really, when you get down to the facts of this, it's ludicrous.
You got to shoot free throws with the hand you're not used to or something.
Right. And maybe blindfolded. Let's face it.
We could do the blind NBA. Now we're talking. What do you think?
Sam, you could be a pro.
NBA. I could go pro. It wouldn't matter how tall you are or anything like that. I mean, I'm just telling you. No, so I don't know what they'll do. I don't know how they'll do it. I'm just predicting that what they'll do is they'll do some kind of handicap. Because, look, these women can't play in the NBA, and the real women know it. And the real women realize it. That's why Sophie and Caitlin and are, standouts, because they understand this reality check, right?
Yeah, look, it shouldn't happen. I think it's ridiculous. I don't want any men in any women's sports. I mean, any sport. I don't want to hear anything about the Olympics or anything about the NFL.
Not in the locker room, Lance?
I don't want to hear any of that. What'd you say?
What about the locker room? I mean, you got to let them in the locker room.
Well, I understand, especially if it's a no-towel locker room. Is that what you're suggesting, Sam?
Yeah, absolutely.
My point is, this is ridiculous. They're crushing. There's many young girls that are aspiring to be professional athletes, and they're crushing their dreams because at the end of the day, there's no way that a woman can compete, at that level with somebody that was in the pros previously, somebody like Enes Kanter. It's just going to make them look absolutely foolish, and it's not right. I just don't. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of the grooming. Why is there always some topic we've got to get groomed about, Sam? What's with the grooming constantly?
I agree. And so this is part of this grooming, though. She's not going to sleep with you, Enes, which he never even suggested anything like that. Now, whether that's possible or not, I can't decide what she's going to do or he's going to do or anything else. All I'm saying is that she's not going to sleep with you as part of this grooming, because here's the deal. If he goes into a woman's locker room as a man, he can be there. There's no concern whatsoever. Dressed, not dressed, doesn't matter. And to say something is offensive. Now then, she says, she's not going to sleep with you. And so now we put that, well, doesn't he belong in the locker room with her?
Yeah.
Obviously not. Don't misunderstand what I'm saying, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just highlighting this point, that it's always about sex. Unless they want this grooming to happen, then of course, if you bring up the sexual aspect, these men are just going in there to see women, in a state of undress or whatever. Then it's like, how dare you say that? It's a real woman and you can't separate this. But then now she can separate right there. If it was a real woman, she wouldn't have said that, right?
Yeah, there's no doubt. They just manipulate the narrative to whatever fits their sick argument. I'm just tired of it. I don't want to see this. I think it's a major disservice. There's lots of women that have been hurt competing against men and women's sports. There's some girls in volleyball that were up against transgender athletes.
Yes, and Riley in
and
sports too, right?
Yeah, and this is horrible, and I just don't think it's necessary. And I'm just tired of the next topic of grooming. This whole agenda. Let's face it, the trans community is extremely small. The demographics on it are tiny, but yet they act as if half the country is trans. And it's
and they got plenty of money and plenty of backers and they got friends in high places, though, right?
Let me ask you a question, Sam. As a child, you might have become aware that there was this thing called a transgender, but did you ever have any contact in any way or any form, meaning that there was some in your community or anything else? I didn't either. There were a couple times because I was in New York. There was a couple times when I was in downtown New York where I saw men dressed as women. They were hideous. But the point was, that was a rarity. It was like maybe I might have seen that twice as a child, and I was in downtown New York constantly. But they act as if the demographic
They're trying to
is
mainstream
50%
it, right?
Yeah, of course. It's ridiculous. It's a joke.
All right. Well, what else is very sick and evil? I guess the Iranian state TV now targeting Barron Trump, Donald Trump's youngest son, with chilling assassination threat. Lance?
You know, as a parent, and I'm sure you feel the same way, you know, I would go at great lengths to protect my daughter, to the point that I would likely catch myself a criminal case if necessary, if it meant protecting her versus her being a victim. In this case, I don't know what Donald Trump's going to do, but Iran should be thankful that it's not me that's president of the United States, because I would have started last night and I wouldn't stop till that regime, till the IRGC and the Besiege were completely gone. I would give Iran back to the Iranian people, and if they want to change the name back to Persia, I'd let them. This is hideous. This is the kind of stuff that I just, this is when I do defend my president. It's not that I agree with everything he's doing, but in this particular case, it's time to be done with Iran. You're not going to negotiate. They're not going to come to the table. They're way too arrogant for that. And you don't really even know who the leadership is. This is horrible. Where to kill Barron Trump? And they say they're tracking him, Sam, that they know where he's at every minute of the day. I don't know if in fact there's any truth to that. And they put a $10 million bounty on his head. If you were a parent,
there's some truth to it, because they released, and the Secret Service is taking note of this, they released details about his gaming habits, where he's appearing, some details to where they know some of those details. It's chilling beyond belief. And what I would do personally if it was me, I would find an off-ramp for the war immediately. I'd back away and leave Iran alone on the surface, Lance. Now listen to me, on the surface. Then what I would do is I would get the best people in the world, and I would just make sure that none of those leaders live to tell about it. That's all I'd do.
Yeah, I think the difficulty comes to back off is prohibitively expensive, right? Because we'd have to withdraw completely.
No matter what we do, it's prohibitively expensive.
I agree with the logic, but in this particular case, we've tried to negotiate with Iran. The U.S. government has tried to negotiate.
You can't negotiate anymore.
Under multiple presidents. It's proven that these people, and I don't know, Sam, have you ever done any business with people from the Middle East?
No.
I have. And I'm going to tell you, it's not a pleasant experience. Dealing with people in the Middle East and the way they negotiate, it's just not really a desirable.
And that's why I would basically back away on the surface, let them, do whatever they do. But then I would just take care of business with the best in the business.
Well, I'll tell you what I would have done today. I would have, right out of the gate, I would have handled it differently. Not because I don't agree with you. I agree with the theory of what you come up with. I just think it's too costly. So instead, I would take out every single bridge. I would make sure that all those roads, because now they're driving in. They're not using, they keep boasting about having the strait under control. They're driving in materials overland. Sure, and that's very common in Iran for thousands of years. They're bringing in everything they need that way. So I would strike all the roads. I would hit the Bitcoin mining facilities. Those would be gone. I would hit all the power grid. I would hit the water. I would literally hit everything that was infrastructure. And then I would be single-handedly going after the regime, warning the Iranian people that if you're near the regime, you need to get away from them, because I'm going to take them all out. And I wouldn't stop till they were all gone. I would hammer them. Shock and awe would be like Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood and compared to what I would do to them.
Yeah, and I understand what you're saying. The problem with that is it's too expensive too. And the problem with that is then what we usually do, and the sad part about that is most likely Donald Trump will nation build. After he goes ahead and destroys everything, he'll come back and nation build, which will be way more expensive than my plan. My plan just simply says, hey, you leaders can play that game if you want to, but we'll win that game. You think you'll take out Barron, you won't. We'll protect him. But we will take out your people, guaranteed. Trust you me. But right now, the Treasury Department launches, quote, Operation Economic Outcast against Iran. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent announced on Monday that the campaign expands the categories for what they call secondary sanctions on anybody that does anything. They're going to deal with technology, aviation, gold, assets. The list goes on and on. So we'll see how that goes. But again, we're ratcheting it up, and I just feel like we're leaving too much room for error, and we're leaving too many chances for partners to partner with Iran, a.k.a. Communist China and others, and Russia, etc. And I'm convinced that what we need to do is just take out their leadership. They can't threaten Barron anymore if that happens. God save our constitutional republic.